thank you, God, for everything. And we're on the way here to study your word, one word at a time. And like I said, we're just going to get into a little geography first, before we get into some kind of message. I guess that's a message too, But we were looking at, we weren't looking at it, but, we're talking about all these places in the Bible. When you talk about the history of the nations there in Genesis 10 and 11 and Genesis 4 and 5, where it names all the places, Gog, Magog, Megiddo, Javan, all of the places. And we know that the names today, what they mean and where they're located and all that stuff. But we still want to get a little, there's a couple of places like this, Jezreel and Esdraelon. They're basically the same thing. Jezreel, Esdraelon is like the Greek name, all right, the Greek form of the Hebrew Jezreel, the name of the great plain called by the natives Mir ibn Amr, the meadow of the son of Amr, which stretches across central Palestine from the Jordan to the Mediterranean. And you can get a picture of that in your head there. Separating the mountain ranges of Carmel and Samaria from those of Galilee. Now, if you pull up a map of Israel, which I got here, you'll be able to see all of these places. I got Esdraelon and Jezreel Valley. So these are right here. Let's pull it out so you can see. That's as far as it goes. Okay. Oops. Hello. So yeah, there's the whole area, the whole Middle East there, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Jordan, and here's Israel. And we always see like pictures of the West Bank, and we think it's a small little strip like the Gaza Strip, So like here's the Gaza Strip, this little thing down here. But West Bank, which is really not the right name for it, because what we call it the West Bank because it's West Jordan. But look at the size of this thing. It goes like this, all the way around here, all the way around here. From here to here, this little stretch of land here is like 10 miles. Okay, so you can see how much this little piece of land there, this little sliver of land in the midst of everybody here is what the whole world is going crazy about and what they're trying to push into the sea. And it's no bigger than New Jersey. As a matter of fact, I think it's even smaller than New Jersey. And that's what we're fighting about. That's the big to-do over there. So you can see these valleys here, plain of Esdraelon and the Jezreel Valley. And we know the history. We got some history. We'll go through some of it. But you can see where it is on the map here. And it's here's the Sea of Galilee right here. And here's the Jordan River running down here. And we have Route 66 in America. We say we got my kicks on Route 66. Well, this Route 66 in Israel, there's been a lot of going on there. So the valley here, you can see the mountains. I try to get the mountain range going here. You can see the mountains here and this valley in here that stretches Route 66. That's where all of the bloodshed was, man. All of these different battles and wars, because, we're not going to fight in the mountains. There's a nice little place here where a lot of slaughter went on. And we'll see Megiddo in this map here. Megiddo is down here somewhere. So it's all in the same area, the same spot, this valley here in northern Israel. Nazareth is up here. All right, and then you go way down here at the bottom of the West Bank, so to speak, you'll see Jerusalem. So that's way down there. And you got the mountains up here. And when it talks about between Mount Carmel and Gibor, what's the other mount? Gilboa. So here's Mount Carmel over here. I got Mount Carmel National Park over here. And here's your valley of Jezreel where all of this stuff is going on. And it says from the Jordan to the Mediterranean. So, you're talking this whole area here is where all of these things were going on. And Mount Gilboa, see, that's down here on the eastern end here. And then you got Mount Tabor, and that's up here in the north. So you got, like I said, this whole area here is what the Bible's talking about when it's talking about this valley of decision, valley of Jehoshaphat, valley of Barakah. Let me get all the words. You got Megiddo, and the place is called Armageddon, the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's there. I will also gather all the nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for the heritage of Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge the heathen round about. So that's the area we're talking about. And also there's Barakah, the valley of Barakah. It's the same area. I'm going to read these verses, but you can see these are all the same places. When you look them up on the maps of Israel, Valley of Jehoshaphat, Barakah, Megiddo, you'll find they're all in the same area. And Armageddon, we know about Armageddon. It's one time in the Bible, Revelation 16:16. And he gathered them together into the place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. So that's Armageddon, or it's the hill or the city of Megiddo. So where's Armageddon? That's in Megiddo. All right. Har is a mountain, and Megiddo is the one here. It's a place of crowds, Megiddo. And we know where it's located. It's in the valley of Jezreel there. And we can read a whole bunch of stuff on Armageddon, but just one verse here. That's all it's at. Okay, Har Megiddo, it's the same thing. All right, we'll close this out in case we need another page. Oops, there we go. And Jezreel, I just showed you where that was. Esdraelon, I showed you where that was. But in Judith, she even talks about it in the Apocrypha. Then he came to the edge of Esdraelon, near Dothan, fronting the great river of Judea. So she knows where it is too. Everybody knows where it is. Okay, Samaria and Galilee, extending about 14 miles from north to south and 9 miles from east to west. And that's just a little spot there where this is. But, 14 miles is like almost the width of northern Israel. It's not that long. It's not that far across. I mean, I think the farthest part from east to west in Israel, the largest area, it like maybe 40 or 50 miles. So, and you have some spots, like I said, there's 9 miles between the Jordan West Bank and the Mediterranean Sea. My thing is still on here. Hold on a second. Close this out. Turn on video. There you go. So it is drained by that ancient river, the Kishon, which flows westward to the Mediterranean from the hood of Mount Tabor. We showed you where that is, up in the northeast there. It branches out into 3 valleys, that on the north, passing between Tabor and Little Hermon. We'd have to look at Little Hermon. I don't know if I have Little Hermon here. Little Hermon? No. So there's Tabor and Little Hermon. Mount Hermon, G-R-M-O-N, see what that is. Mount Hermon. So that's, wow, that's way north. That's up near Lebanon. That's the very northern border of Israel, Mount Hermon, if that's the right one. Because Tabor is down here, and this is the valley here, Jezreel, Jehoshaphat, Esdraelon, and his Mount Carmel is over here. So this Mount Hermon is way up there. I didn't know that. Okay, if that's the right one, it might be a different one. So where was I here? All right, let me get this out of here. and that's Hamon-Gog. Hamon-Gog, multitude of Gog. We know about Gog and Magog. I mean, that's basically some of what's attacking Israel right now. The name of the given to the Valley of Graves, ravine or glen, now known as the Ravine of the Passengers, located on the east side of the Dead Sea. So that's on the east side of the Dead Sea. And you'll see that in Ezekiel 39, 11 and 15. Little Hermon, okay, the south of Mount Gilboa and En-Ganim, we saw that. While the central portion, the Valley of Jezreel, and that's the spot there. That's we're concentrating on. Valley of Jezreel proper runs into the Jordan Valley, which is about 1,000 feet lower than Esdraelon. So here Gideon gained his victory over the Midianites in Judges 7, 125. 1 to 25. We're not going to read the whole thing, but this is Gideon's battle here, and he gained the victory. So there was bloodshed there with that. And then here also Barak defeated Sisera, and Saul's army was defeated by the Philistines here. And King Josiah, that's another story, while fighting in disguise against Necho, king of Egypt, was slain. So this one where Barak defeated Sisera, I don't have the verses on it, man. Sisera, and that would be in Judges 4, and you can look that up. Where and eventually he got a nail through his head by what's her name, right? Jael drove a nail through his head. He was killed by a woman. Ooh. But that was Barak and Deborah. They had their fight there against these guys, and Sisera was the general of that army, and with the Moabites. So they fought them. So the Moabites there, and then this other one here, where the Pharaoh Necho killed Josiah. I mean, Josiah was doing everything right, and all of a sudden he wants to go up against Pharaoh Necho, who's doing his own conquering. He's out there in Carchemish and Assyria. 2 Chronicles 25:35, and also in 2 Kings. But I think the one in the Chronicles has, you see, all right, in Chronicles it says Carchemish, but in Kings it says Assyria. So let me just open the book here, because I got 2 Chronicles, 2 Kings. Go to 2 Kings. What was it? 2 Kings 23. 2 Kings 23. And we'll just do like a cross-reference with 2 Chronicles. So 23, 29. So in his days, yeah, okay. 2 23, 29. In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates, and King Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo. Josiah didn't slew anybody. Pharaoh Necho slew him at Megiddo when he had seen him there. So that's a real quickie in the 2 Kings 23. But over here, when you get into the Chronicles, it says, and after all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came to fight against Carchemish. So here they got Carchemish, but in the Kings it says Syria. But he sent ambassadors to him saying, so the king of Egypt is telling Josiah, chill out, man. I got nothing to do with you. Stay away from me, and you won't get hurt. He says, what have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war. For God commanded me to make haste, forbear thee from meddling with God, who is with me, that he destroy thee not. So Necho's saying, God's on my side with this. And nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself that he might fight with him, and hearkened not unto the words of Necho from the mouth of God, and came to fight with him in the valley of Megiddo. So here's this valley we're talking about, where all his blood is spilled. And the archer shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, have me away, for I am sore wounded. And servants took him out of the chariot and put him in the second chariot that he had, and they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died. And he was buried in one of the sepulchres of his father. And all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah. And Jeremiah lamented for Josiah. So this was about 600, let's see, 610. I have it in my Bible, 610 BC. So what's his name? Jeremiah was around here telling everybody to look out. And he lamented for Josiah. And all the singing men and the singing women spoke of Josiah in their lamentations to this day, and made them an ordinance in Israel. And behold, they are written in the Lamentations. And you can see in other parts of the Bible where they talk about this actor here, and it's all lamenting for Josiah, who was, a great king. He destroyed. He took idolatry out of Israel, and he was a good king. He read the law in the land. He had the book of the law, and this is in 2 Kings 20. What is it? 22 and 8. He says, Hilkiah the high priest said unto Shaphan the scribe, I have found a book of the law in the house of the Lord. And Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan to read. And Josiah caused it. He had what they called a great revival, in the land of Israel. And what did he do? He goes out to stand up against Pharaoh, Necho, and gets himself killed. So that's that, and that's in that valley. So this plain has been well called the battlefield of Palestine. It has been a chosen place for encampment in every contest carried on in this country from the days of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Assyrians, and in the history of whose wars with Arphaxad is mentioned in the great plain of Esdraelon, until the disastrous march of Napoleon Bonaparte from Egypt into Syria. Jews, Gentiles, Saracens, whatever that is, Crusaders, Frenchmen, Egyptians, Persians, Druzes, Turks, Arabs, warriors out of every nation which is under heaven, have pitched their tents in the plain and have beheld the various banners of their nations wet with the dews of Tabor and Hermon. And Tabor and Hermon, as you can see on the map, they're like far apart, man. Here's Hermon way up there, and Tabor is down here somewhere. So you're talking, what's the miles? That's 20, 40, 60. It's about 100 miles. All right. That was a good little thing on there. And that's from the Easton's dictionary. I mean, I looked this stuff up. I got Concise Dictionary here. Jezreel, I got Concise Dictionary. They give you some stuff, and they'll give you the same stuff of what's going on here. Extensive valley or plain in which the last named city was situated in southern Galilee. It's been called the battlefield of Palestine, and you can see all of these virtues that where it's at. And the Battle of Armageddon will be fought there, so to speak. It is a very fertile plain. It is now well cultivated. Hosea 2:22 says, and the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And it's also the place where, what's her name, killed the Naboth. I don't know what verses that are. I should have had them up here somewhere. Maybe we'll find them here. Let me get this out of here. I'll just look up Jezreel. Maybe we'll have this here. And I'm just trying to give you some kind of a geography lesson here, to see where things are going on. Jehu entered overlooking the quarters of Queen Jezebel. So a lot of stuff happened under here. Tower of Jezreel. Here it is, Naboth. Let me see. The Tower of Jezreel was part of the defenses of the city. It commanded a view of the approach up from the valley from Beth Shean, the way followed by the hordes of the east, who from time immemorial came westward for the rich pasture of the plain. It was necessary also to keep constant watch, as the district east of the Jordan was always more unsettled than that on the west, and danger thence might appear at any moment. The garden of Naboth seems to have lain to the east of the city, near the royal domain, to which Ahab desired to add it as a garden of his herbs. So this was the scene and the tragic meetings between Elijah and Ahab, between Jehu and Joram and Ahaziah. Joram had returned to Jezreel from Ramoth Gilead to be healed of his wounds. By the gateway, the dogs devoured Jezebel's body. Naboth had been stoned to death outside the city. Josephus lays the scene by the fountain of Jezreel, and here he says, the dogs licked the blood washed up from the chariot of Ahab. And this accords with 1 Kings 21:19. Okay, so that's that. So it's a bloody place. The blood is still running over there. So, and here's the places. If you want to look at his Megiddo, we looked at that. There's Megiddo, a place of crowds, also known as Armageddon. Jezreel means God sows. Okay, so he's someone over there, all right. Yah, Zara means to sow, and El is God. So God sows. And then Hadad Rimon, this is two Syrian names of gods of Syria. Hadad of the pomegranates, but Hadad is a god, and Rimon is a god. So this is Hadad means mighty, okay, and Rimon means pomegranate. So it's mighty pomegranate, but it's two kings there. And then you got Haman Gog. We just looked at that, the multitude of Gog. All right, and then you got, of course, Armageddon. We looked at that already. So those are some of the geographical places that we looked at, and probably will continue to look at here. And I have just a lot of stuff. Armageddon, you can read about it in any dictionary. Just pull it.